Okay, time. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Ram, could you do the prayer?
Yeah, beloved God, help us all to love you more and more, and more and more, and still at more, till we become worthy of union with you, and help us all to hold fast to Baba's Daman till the very end. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
Jai Baba, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday's program from the Bombay Center. Uh, Firstly, I'd like to invite our one and only Lord Meher Baba to please come and join us and participate in our program today. Not only just join us, but take over and conduct the affairs of this meeting exactly as per your wish, Meher Baba. Thank you. I would like to begin today's thing with a small anecdote. Uh, एक समय Baba was in a meeting with some people, quite a bit of a gathering, and he asked them. Somehow this question cropped up as to what is the best gift one can give to Baba. So in turn, Baba asked everybody else, what do you think would be the best gift? तुम्हारे हिसाब से what would be the best gift that you can give me? And like we all know, कि even in Madhusudan's bhajan, it says, धूप दीप चंदन चराना तुम्हारा ही तुमको लौटाना. Everything belongs to him. तो आप उनको क्या गिफ्ट दे सकते हो? So different people started different things. Ye, wo, Baba, yam, them. Finally, he wasn't satisfied with the answers. So then he said something very, very important. उन्होंने कहा, give me your weaknesses, because that is the only thing I don't have. I am the ocean. मैं एक समंदर हूं और आपके जितनी भी कमियां खामियां जो भी कुछ है आप मुझे दे दीजिए, मैं लेने को तैयार हूं. आई एम केपेबल ऑफ हैंडलिंग and taking over all your weaknesses. Coincidentally, or whatever you call it, today happens to be the Dhoni day, or it is a belief कि जब हम वो धुनी में वन स्टिक ऑफ वुड, वो चंदन के whatever, उसको ग्रीस में लगा के वो धुनी में डालते हैं, तो we are supposed to offer him our weakness, कि उसमें जला के खाक कर देना. So that is what the idea behind giving weaknesses, offering our weaknesses to Baba is all about. There is a saying कि man proposes and Meher Baba disposes. आज हमारे पास 3 स्पीकर्स थे, वो तीनों में से एक भी तैयार नहीं हुआ. It is all Baba's game and Baba's wish. वो जिनको चाहते हैं वही आके यहाँ पे कुछ ना कुछ बोल सकते हैं. तो मेरा इतना ही मानना है कि हमारी तरफ से हमें एफर्ट करनी चाहिए, and then not be disappointed with anything. One of the speaker has
Jai Baba.
just come in. Yeah, Jai Baba. How are you?
Uh, I'm good. I'm sorry for the delay. There was some glitch and I had to download it on my phone. My iPad was not working.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, that's perfectly all right. Folks, this is Mrs. Katrak. I just met her somewhere during this week, and she has an amazing connection with Meher Baba. Incidentally, she is Dilmer's
Bhabhi.
Bhabhi. Dilmer Bharucha Bhola, sorry, uski bhabhi hai. Professionally, she is a teacher in French language, and her husband was also to join us and speak, but for some reason he had to take his mother to the hospital or something, so that is out. Perhaps some other time. And like I said, Jaise Baba, only when he wants someone to come in and talk. So go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us something about yourself and briefly.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to begin by saying Jai Baba.
Mix
I am
Hindi and English.
ठीक है. हिंदी में बोलूं कि इंग्लिश में?
जरूर जरूर. Both mix.
मिक्स. ठीक है. दिखाई दे रही हूँ, सुनाई दे रहा है ठीक से?
बिल्कुल.
ठीक है. For a short introduction first, before I begin that, I am really fortunate, and I shall say, humble to know that I have the grace of Baba to be able to come and speak to you all today. I don't think I'm anything compared to all of you, but I shall share a small experience that I had a few years ago at Mehrabad. And before that, my name is, I'm Asha Katrak, and I have, for as long as I know, I've taught French at university, at Alliance, at colleges, and I also worked in a school for some time before moving to Hyderabad. I live in Hyderabad now. We used to be in Bombay before this. And Dil Meher is my sister-in-law, my husband's sister, and Fuaji, that is Dr. Bharucha, Hoshang Bharucha, I knew him for about a year as soon as I got married. And one of the most, I would say, inspirational people I have met in my life. Okay, आज भी ज्यादा समय उनके साथ नहीं बिताया, मगर जो भी बिताया इतना अभी भी मैं सोचती हूँ तो भावुक हो जाती हूँ. तो बाबा के बारे में उनसे पहले सुना, मेरे पति से पहले सुना, फिर उनसे सुना, एंड ऑफ कोर्स दिलमेर, होशिदार और फूई, उनकी मम्मी जो मैमुना, उनसे बहुत सुना. इसलिए थोड़े आई थिंक 5-6 साल पहले हम लोग अहमदनगर गए थे और फिर वहां 1-2 दिन रहे और समाधि देखने भी गए थे. और बाबा के बारे में मैंने उनकी उनकी किताबें 1-2 पढ़ी जो दिलमेर की मम्मी मैमुना फूई ने मुझे दिया था, मेरे पास अभी भी है. और उनके थोड़े से कार्ड सेइंग्स जो है वो भी मेरे डायरी में है. उनका तो फोटो मेरे भगवान के पास, सारे भगवान के पास कब से रखा हुआ है. और जब मैं समाधि देखने पहली बार गई थी, हम लोग दोपहर में गए, फिर शाम में आरती के टाइम गए, तो मैं उतना जानती थी बाबा के बारे में. बाबा का जो इन्फ्लुएंस है, बाबा ने जितना how he tried to not just inspire people but guide people through his life, his works, he wouldn't speak, but all the books that he he wrote or he dictated, and all the work that he has done, I'd known about him. I was not an active follower. I had the faith, and I respected him. I didn't know a lot about him, so I went in with very curious. I went in with an open mind, a heart filled with love. And जब मैं समाधि एक के बाद एक जब जाते हैं वहां पे नील डाउन हुई, तो मुझे भी नहीं पता, मैं बिल्कुल I was overwhelmed. Okay. ऐसा लगा मैंने देखा और मेरी आंखों से, मुझे अपने इमोशंस पे कोई कंट्रोल नहीं था और मेरी आंखों से ऐसे आंसू टिप 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 जैसे बरसात, जोर की बरसात हो, और मेरा पूरा बदन शेक होने लगा। और वो आंसू कुछ दुख के नहीं थे, एक एक तरीके का सुकून था। मैं एक्सप्रेस शायद ठीक से अभी नहीं कर पा रही हूँ, मगर अंदर से मैं देखती गई और आंसू बहते गए। क्या हुआ, कैसे हुआ, क्यों हुआ, मुझे कुछ नहीं पता। मैं एकदम भावुक हो गई। और फिर मुझे मेरे पीछे भी लोग थे, मुझे वहां से उठना था ही नहीं, मगर मैं जानती थी कि मैं ज्यादा टाइम उधर रुकना ठीक नहीं है, क्योंकि सबको बाबा के पास जाना है, सबको बाबा की समाधि, समाधि पे दे हैव टू प्रोस्ट्रेट, दे हैव टू पे देयर रिस्पेक्ट्स। बट मैं फिर भी 5-7 मिनट तो उठ भी नहीं पाई। तो एक एक तरीके का, लाइक समथिंग केम ओवर मी, a peace, a kind of a soothing peace, I would say, very tranquil, but the tears kept flowing, kept flowing. So I was completely amazed. And I sort of felt there is one unseen, unknown power, but that can be felt, something. So I got up. I was a little, I didn't know how to react. I just walked out, took the prasad, and sat down. And for 1 whole hour, there was kirtan. So, आप लोग क्या कहते हैं, भजन, भजन, राइट? भजन गा रहे थे लोग और मैं बस मग्न बैठी थी। तो वो मैं कभी नहीं भूल पाऊंगी, कभी नहीं। और जब भी मैं दिया करती हूँ तो मेरे सारे भगवान के पास बाबा का भी फोटो है। मैं हर रोज आई पे माय रिस्पेक्ट्स टू मेहर बाबा। जय बाबा।
आशा, आपका प्रीवियस कनेक्शन थ्रू योर फैमिली भी मेहर बाबा के साथ था व्हेन यू वर इन आंध्र?
एक्चुअली मेरा नहीं, जब मेरी शादी केरमान से हो रही थी और मुझे होशंग फुआ के बारे में पता चला और मेहर बाबा का नाम, वैसे मैं छोटी थी तो हमने सुना था नाम, तो मैंने मेरे डैडी को बताया। तो मेरे डैडी ने कहा कि जब वो छोटे थे, माय फादर इज 79 टुडे, व्हेन ही वाज अ लिटिल किड, ही वाज अबाउट 3, 4, 5 years old, मेहर बाबा had come to their house, to their village.
वाह!
This is a small village in Andhra near Kakinada. ओके तो उनके गांव, मेरे मेरे जो दादा थे वो हेडमैन ऑफ द विलेज थे। ओके, दे आर कॉल्ड कर्णम, दैट्स द वर्ड फॉर द हेड ऑफ द विलेज। एंड सो whoever came would always visit the headman's house, and a small sabha was organized in the आंगन। वो उन दिनों में घर के सामने बड़ा आंगन होता था, तो एक सभा ऑर्गेनाइज किया गया और बाबा आए थे। और काफी लोग बाबा की वो जो भजन गाते थे, एक मंडली थी, तो उनको याद है थोड़ा थोड़ा कि ऑफ कोर्स आई नो मेहर बाबा, वो हमारे गांव आए थे, हमारे हमारे घर में भी आए थे। तो उतना तो मुझे डैडी ने बताया। और उसके बाद मैं दिल मेहर से, फूई से, ज्यादा मैमुना फूई से स्टोरी सुनते आ रही हूँ। और मुझे, मगर अहमदनगर 94 में शादी हुई, वो 2017 में शायद मैं गई थी। तो उतने दिन रुकना पड़ा जाने के लिए, जब तक बुलावा नहीं आता है, like you said, you don't get to go. So I hope I can get to go again very soon.
जय बाबा।
Jai Baba.
Anybody wants to ask her, Asha, anything? किसी को
Yeah. Jai Baba. Asha, are you from Hyderabad?
Yes,
आपका
Sikandrabad, yes.
तो हैदराबाद का हिंदी क्या हो गया?
नहीं, वो वाली हिंदी तो मैं नहीं बोल, मुझे अच्छी बहुत लगती है, मैं बोल नहीं पाती क्योंकि I did not grow up here. So
You didn't
though
grow up
I
in
can
Hyderabad.
try, I can try, but
कोशिश करो, ट्राई करो, मजा आ जाएगा।
next time.
Ram, she could tell you a few things in Telugu, I'm sure.
Yes, yes.
పర్వాలేదు, వింటాను, చెప్తే చెప్తే అర్థం అవుతుంది.
అవునా? అది కూడా నెక్స్ట్ టైం. తెలుగులో అంటే కొంచెం ఈజీగా ఇంగ్లీష్ ఇంకా హిందీలో చెప్పగలుగుతాను. తెలుగులో ఆలోచించి చెప్పాలి. Although it's my mother tongue, one is so used to speaking in English and Hindi that I have to think a little. Then I get as it is, I'm a little nervous today.
It's rusted. Telugu is rusted now.
No. I speak it fluently. It's my mother tongue. But offhand, and then I don't know. Everybody doesn't speak Telugu there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Audience is Hindi, English.
You know, Asha, since you have this French background, teaching French, etc., so reminds me of an incident in Paris. मैं जब पेरिस गया था तो वहाँ का एक बाबा प्रेमी हमें सब बाबा के जो भी कुछ साइट्स थे वगैरह वो दिखा रहा था. तो he took us to a street. It was a street corner और वहाँ पे it seems वहाँ का जो जो बिल्डिंग था उसमें बाबा had gone and stayed there or met, ऐसे कुछ था. The beauty of that uh, whole thing is कि वो street का नाम in French, it was at a junction kind of a thing. So the meaning in English was a road where all hearts meet. अब ये आप कोइंसिडेंट कहो या जो भी कहना है कहो, बट बाबा चोज एक ऐसी जगह कि जहाँ पे जिसका नाम where all hearts meet यानी कि सब हृदय साथ में मिलते हैं. तो समटाइम्स मुझे ये लगता है कि मेहर बाबा हर एक चीज, मेहर बाबा की हर एक चीज, smallest of the details are being taken care of by him. Only thing is कि हमारे जो परसेप्शन है, हमारा जो दृष्टिकोण है, वो उसको जरा what we call it as fine tune, उसको जरा उनके साथ जमाना चाहिए ताकि हम देख सके उनकी खूबियां. There are thousands and millions of his खूबियां, but we don't get to see it because we are not tuned to him. The closer we get to him, the more often we remember him. जितना हम उन्हें याद करते हैं तो हम उनके करीब जाने लगते हैं, और जब हम उनके करीब जाते हैं तब ये सब चीजें अपने आप समझ में आती है कि ये क्या है न वो क्या है न. I'll give you a small example. Jai Baba, how are we?
Jai Baba Dikra.
Of late मेरे साथ एक चीज हुई जिससे मुझे बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला. ऐसे मैं बाबा की प्रेयर्स वगैरह करता था और जो भी कुछ मन में आता था वो उनको बोलता था बाद में. लेकिन तब से मैंने ये वो भी जरा म्यूट योर सेल्फ प्लीज. थैंक यू. हम लोग बाबा से कभी कभी मैं बोलता था, पर आज जो मैंने बोला वो मुझे ये अच्छी तरह से ध्यान में आया है कि द बेस्ट गिफ्ट, बाबा को सबसे बड़ी गिफ्ट जो हम दे सकते हैं, दैट इज आवर वीकनेसेस. सो मैंने अभी ये तय कर लिया है, आई हैव डिसाइडेड कि सुबह उठ के उनको याद करके बस यही कहना है कि बाबा मेरे में जो कमियां हैं, मेरे में जो खामियां हैं, वो मैं आपको सुपुर्द करता हूँ. आई एम हैंडिंग ओवर ऑल दीज थिंग्स टू यू. ऑल्सो इस दिन में the day that I'm going to start, उसमें जो भी खूबियां खामियां जो भी है वो सब मैं तुम्हारे कदमों में निछावर कर देता हूँ. And believe you me folks, it has worked. हमारे जो भेजे में होता है कि हम कंट्रोल करते हैं, ये होना चाहिए, ये नहीं हुआ, ये आया नहीं आया, ये मिलने वाला था नहीं मिला, whatever सॉरी, हमें वो सब चीजों की कोई चिंता करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है. बाबा टेक्स ओवर, ही लिटरली टेक्स ओवर. मैं दारूवाला, आपको कुछ पूछना है? गो अहेड.
I want to share something.
हाँ प्लीज गो अहेड.
I went just now to Mehrabad and I went to the Samadhi twice. I mean, I went more often, but these two twice I went. Once I went, I was standing in the line. I thought I'd be able to put the chadar where they put it. But I managed to get this thing to put the flowers for Baba
अच्छा.
on this thing, how they put it as a heart shape. And I was just telling Yasmin, I said, Yasmin, if I don't get a chance to put the sheet, I don't know what's going to happen. It'll happen. And for sure, on the 1st of January, Baba gave me such a lovely thing. He called me inside to put the chadar also. So I was so this thing, but both my things were this thing fulfilled by Baba.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This is
Jai Baba.
very typical. He always answers to your innermost desires. तुम्हारी अगर ख्वाहिशें अच्छी होगी, इरादा नेक होता है, तो बाबा always helps. Thank you. Anybody else wants to comment on anything? Havovi, do you want to say anything? Jai Baba.
Sam, I want to tell people, if you want to put, anything, charger vagara subhe.
Ji.
So the doors open at 6 o'clock and the tomb cleaning starts at 6. And between 6 and 7, if you go around 6:15, there are hardly anyone there. So they will invite you, to put, to clean it and to put charger vagara vagara.
Yeah, all of us should remember this.
Yeah.
Very good tip. Thanks, Ram. Thank you very much. Anything else you want to share, Ram?
No, that's just about it.
Okay. Is Jimmy Khan around?
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
would you like to take over now?
Yes. Let's see. Jai Baba, everyone. I spoke on life of Mehra 3 weeks earlier, and I'm not too sure where I ended. So let's see how it goes. But before that, 2 things. One is that I don't think many Baba lovers know that the morning Aarti and the evening Aarti, including the bhajan ghazals, I call them sing song, including the sing song that succeeds the Aarti, are relayed live every day, morning and evening. You have to just go to YouTube, or that is what is called Meher channel. And it starts from, let's say, 6:56, 6:57. It starts, and you can enjoy sitting in your home. You can enjoy Baba's Aarti and program live. It is relayed live. That is very important. So if you feel that you are missing Mehrabad, this is one good tech that allows us to be party to the prayers and the sing songs.
Okay. Jimmy, if I may interrupt, I just want to narrate a small detail. Today is the day Mansari went to Baba. She not only got the Dhoni day, but she also got the first Dhoni of the year. Mansari, for those of us who do not know her, she was unique. She was a unique kind of Baba's मंडली के जो भी लोग थे उसमें से उनका एक स्थल बहुत ही यूनिक था. There have been times जब वो अकेले अकेले बिल्कुल अकेले समाधि की देखभाल कर रहे थे दिन और रात, और कोई नहीं था वहां पे. और बाबा ने उनको बिजी या ऑक्यूपाइड रहने के लिए उनको कबीर वाणी पढ़ने को कहा था. तो शी लर्न दैट एब्सोल्युटली पिट दैट बाय हार्ट. उनको कबीर वाणी फटाफट आती थी. भेजे की बहुत तिखी थी वो. शी वॉज वेरी शॉर्ट टेम्पर्ड एंड क्वाइट स्ट्रिक्ट. मुझे भी बहुत टाइम झाड़ा है उन्होंने. तो वो सब बातें अलग है. She caught me smoking around in a distant area and वो मुझे पकड़ के बहुत झाड़ा था. But that is neither here nor there. जब वो बीमार पड़ी थी and when she was on her last this thing, last few days, तो she expressed a desire कि उनको किसी ने बोला कि भाई इनको ये जो चेस्ट का कंजेशन है जो भी कुछ है तो थोड़ा सा ब्रांडी देना चाहिए. सो जेम्स कॉक्स जो वहां के रेसिडेंट थे, he went around and obtained the best possible cognac. कोवाजेर के नाम से जो एक बेस्ट पॉसिबल कोनियक है वो लाके मंसारी को थोड़े थोड़े चमच से मुंह में डाला. दिस लेडी, उन्होंने वो चखा and then she said, this is nothing compared to what Baba had given me. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? So this is Mansari, and today is her anniversary. Baba unko, of course, I'm sure he must have taken care of her. Go ahead, Jimmy. I'm finished.
Yeah. I've been asked a question that how was Mehra attracted to Meher Baba? And the answer is the very first story which I narrated 3 weeks ago was that Mehra's sister Piroja, whose name was changed to Freni by Baba, because Baba had lost his sister whose name was Freni. Therefore, he changed Piroja's name to Freni, and Gulmai, the mother. The three of them were at Sakuri with Pasni Maharaj. And on that day, Meherwan was, in those days, he wasn't called Meher Baba, he was just called Meherwan. So this family saw Meherwan 4 times in that particular day, for four times, but their eyes never met. Mehra and Baba's eyes never met. And Baba was very young. He was good looking. He had flowing hair. He walked fast. He looked nice. So naturally, Mehra was, as a young girl, she was attracted to Meher Baba. So basically, that is the answer. But the story goes that later on, when she met Baba and she looked into Baba eye to eye, Mehra was a shy girl. One can understand, one can imagine that if you are 15, 16, you are a shy girl. One accepts that. So she would never talk to Baba of her own and on her own. It is only when Baba asked her for something, then only she would talk. Otherwise, she would be a witness to something. That reminds me, I don't know if I said this story. Once Baba was seated and he called, this is at Mehrabad, your Mehrabad, in the very, very early days. And the women were called. I presume Baba was sitting at the post office and the women were called. The women were staying at the bathroom. So they were called, so they came and men were seated on one side, women sat on the other side. And in the midst of this talking, Suddenly Baba looks at Mehra and says, "What are you thinking?" And Mehra says that I was not thinking of anything. And I just said, "Baba, I'm thinking of you, no one else, nothing else." And she said that I never looked at men. Though they were seated in the same room, she was focusing herself on Baba, and she never looked at men as to who's who and who seated with Baba. So she never knew as to who were with Baba at that time. So she says that I would have been very embarrassed if I was thinking of something else or looking at somewhere else. It would have been very embarrassing situation. Fortunately, that didn't happen. So that's another side talk, as we call it. Now let's come to Firoja and Rustam's wedding. I told you that Firoja was Mera's sister, Mera's elder sister, and Rustam was Khan Bahadur's son. The other son was Ali Senior. Ali Senior and Rustam were the two brothers. There were two other sisters, but we won't go into that. So the talks started with the family about Rustam's marriage. And the matter went to Baba. And I think it was Baba who suggested, why not Firoja? So in those early days, of course, we are talking about 1920s. In the early days, there was nothing like courtship. The couple didn't go out and know each other. So what would happen is the seniors would bring the girl and the boy, and they would look at each other. They would just look at each other, and that is it. And then the girl would be asked in private, "What do you think?" And the boy would be asked in private, "What do you think?" And if they both said yes, then the engagement, the marriage would follow. The same thing happened with Firoja and Rustam, and the wedding was arranged. The wedding was going to happen at Mehrabad, I beg your pardon, at Ahmednagar, at what is called Khusro Compound. Next to Khusro Compound, which is today we call it the Trust Office, next to it adjoining was Saros Manzil. Not many know of the existence of Saros Manzil because we haven't seen Saros Manzil. What happened Saros Manzil, at least I don't know. I've not read anywhere as to what happened Saros Manzil. It was a beautiful, beautiful structure. And K. Khusro had built this, as we call it, Trust Office compound for the guests. He was an entertainer. He liked to entertain people. He liked to invite people from Bombay, Pune, Ahmednagar, etc. And he would let them house there. But Saros Manzil, which was adjoining the Trust Office compound, this is where the family stayed. So during Rustam's wedding, Rustam had taken Baba's promise that I will only marry Firoja provided you attend my wedding. Otherwise, I will not get married. Baba said, then I will come and attend your wedding. So during this wedding, there was also a boy, a young boy, a prospective boy for Mehra. He had seen Mehra when she was 14 or 15, and he kind of eyed her, he kind of liked Mehra. So normally what would happen is during somebody's wedding, it was almost the done thing that someone's matchmaking is done and it is announced from public system that we have another good news to share. X and Y are going to be engaged, they are going to be married, and everyone would clap and that kind of a thing. Now what happened was that boy was present for the wedding, but Mehra, when she was at that point in time, she was at Sakori with Upasni Maharaj, and she developed. Now this is all karmic. This is all written. Let's call it, this is all written. And Mehra developed some kind of a swelling on her knee. With the result, she found it extremely difficult to walk. extremely difficult to walk. And she was limping. She was literally limping. So when Daulat, the mother, when Daulat came to Sakori to take Mera, Upasni called Mera and said, you see how she's limping. Do you think you will be able to take her from Sakori to Ahmednagar in this condition? And what do you think? How will she look? Sorry. How will she look when she's all dressed up, decked up in the sari, and she's limping? Will she look good? So I suggest you don't take her, let her be. Now, Daulat Mai, she was, of course, she was very spiritual. She must have been a very enlightened soul. And one thing she did was obedience. Baba gave so much importance to obeying the master. So in spite of not being happy, maybe not being happy, she said, okay, to Upasni Maharaj. And she went back alone. Mera was with Upasni at Sakori. So what happened, I don't say by chance or coincidence, all designed. That boy could not meet Mera. And therefore the things did not move further. Now, after the wedding, after 7 days, there is another ceremony. I think we Parsis call it Varova. I'm not too sure. But this happened at Mehrabad in front of Baba. And there were a few ladies seated there. Mera was there. Yes, the Daulat Mai came to Sakori to tell Simon, to tell Upasni that this is the ceremony. It's going to be performed at Mehrabad, and I would like to take my daughter. Baba said, do take her. So whatever it was, limping or otherwise, Mera went to Ahmednagar, wherever that thing took place, should be Mehrabad. And there was a talk going on. There were ladies. Baba's mother was also, Shrinma was also there. And the talk veered around that boy who had come to see Mera, but he left disappointed. And they're discussing this with Mera Baba, that Baba, this is it, and the boy and the family. Boy's one auntie remained back. So boy's one auntie was present during this conversation. And it kind of ended up with a little heated argument between Shrinmai and Meher Baba, between Merwan. And Shrinmai said something to Baba, but Merwan this, Merwan that. So Baba said, hold it. Everyone hold it. Has anyone bothered to ask Mera what she has to say? It is her marriage, it is her life. Nobody wants to ask her. You want to just discuss inter-se. So naturally the eyes veered to Mera. Mera was a very young girl, and they asked Mera that, Mera, we are talking about you, we are talking about your future, etc. So Baba said, Mera, what do you have to say about this? And Mera was, soft-spoken, shy. So she said, I don't want to get married. And everyone's ears perked up. And Baba said, did you hear that? Did you hear that? And Baba said, Mera, speak little louder, please, so that the ladies can hear. And Mera said, Baba, I don't want to get married. Baba said, finish, the end. From today, from now onwards, nobody will ask Mera, and nobody will broach the subject of marriage with Mera. She has twice said no, so let us close the chapter. So this is how Mera remained single forever. Once again, karmic, once again, all orchestrated, once again, it was all done. That Mera, like money, was for Baba. The way money served Baba all her life, automatically and naturally, Mera also served Baba all her life. So that's a small story. Yeah. Now, Mera, her sister, she was already married, Firoza. The mother, Daulatmai, and Nalli Khorshid, uh, Naja, they would come and stay with Baba off and on. I'm using the word off and on because off and on. After some time, Baba would go here, Baba would go there, Baba would go traveling. He went to Persia, he went to France, he went wherever he went. So during such times, Baba would send them back to Piroja and Rustam's house. They had an outhouse. You know, in those days, the properties were big. And they stayed in that compound when Baba was not around. And Baba would call them. This went on. But from May 24, I'm emphasizing on 24 because Baba was still speaking. That's why 24. Baba started silence, everybody knows in 25. So Baba called in May 24, Baba called these ladies and said, pack your belongings, pack your bag, pack your trunks, pack your bedrolls, and come and stay forever at Mirabat. And Baba dictated what to bring. You know, the life was very base, very simple. And that is what Baba liked. And Baba was very orthodox also. So Nalli Khorshid, and when they were still not at Merabat, Nalli Khorshid and Mera were talking among themselves as to what to pack. So Nalli Khorshid said, Mera, we will not pack pillows. We will not pack pillows because life at Merabat is going to be extremely simple. No fashion, no nothing. Very simple life. So we will not take the pillows. Well, so they come to Merabat. They come to, now let me break here. They first initially stayed at the bathrooms. Now, people like me or whoever, we have heard of toilets being outside. Even when we stayed in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, we ourselves used the toilets outside the rooms or outside Dharamshala. But we never had the concept of bathrooms being outside. You know, in those days, the houses, whether it was one room or two rooms or whatever number of rooms, the bathroom and the toilets were always outside. So these bathrooms were constructed during the British time, pre-Baba. Yes, here you have it. Here. This is the photo. Thank you, Janice. Thank you. This is a photograph of bathrooms. Yeah, it says May, June 2024. So in May, the women that I talked about stayed here in this. Now, naturally, the bathrooms were done away with and the walls were constructed, whitewashed, etc., reasonably good enough for the women to stay. Now, Baba comes over and they had not still opened their trunks and the bedrolls. So Baba said, let me see what you have brought. I've told you what to bring, so let me have a look. So they opened the trunk. Then Baba said, open your bedrolls. When the bedrolls were open, there were no pillows. Baba said, where are the pillows? So they were kind of caught absolutely unaware. And they said, Baba, we haven't brought the pillows. So Baba became a little stern and said, what do you expect me? You don't have pillows. You're going to fall sick. You're going to have a crick in your neck. And you will expect me to look after you and call the doctor and you want to spend money on you. Pack your bags and get out. But now, between the devil and the deep sea, that they're completely caught. So long and short, they got the pillows. Maybe they summoned someone to go to their house and bring the pillows. So that's the story of pillows. And they stayed at the bathroom, as I said. Now, one day as they were staying there, Baba and the other man, they were staying at the post office across the road at the post office. And one day, someone said, listen, listen, listen carefully. Can you hear the dolak? Can you hear the dolak? Can you hear someone singing? That's Baba. Baba is singing. So for the first time, Mera, Daulat, Mai, and the others, they heard Baba singing. They went to the windows, they craned their neck and their ears to listen to Baba's singing. And they enjoyed Baba's. Baba had a beautiful voice. Now, I'll break over here because it's something to do with singing. Baba, when he was a child, he, his brothers, sisters, they used to sing Munajat. Munajat are Parsi, Zoroastrian spiritual songs. And Shariarji had written Munajats. We never knew till we read that it was Shariarji who had written a number of Munajats. And it is written that Baba and his brothers and sisters, they would sing this Munajat with the father and the mother. Now, there's a side story. And the side story is one Baba lover wrote a message to me saying that, Jimmy, what is the Munajat that Baba wrote? Can you please give me the words? And I was very, very sure of my facts. I said, Baba has never written Munajat. Naturally, he used to write songs, etc. We all know that. Poems, prose, etc. But Baba had never written a Munajat. So I said, Baba has never written a Munajat. And I said, it is Shariaji who had written Munajats. So sure enough, to prove me wrong, she's sending a quote from one of Baba books, which says that Baba used to sing Munajat with his parents, which were with his parents. And it's also said that, okay, let's come to another side story. Once Nalli Khorshid, Mera and Naja were seated with Baba. And Baba asked them, I'm sorry, I'm jumping from one to the other. Baba asked them, bring a pad and pen. So all three of them brought pad and pen. And Baba dictated a Munajat. So, and they all wrote it down. I'm using the word dictated. And they all wrote it down. Baba took the pad from Naja, read the pad, read it, corrected, and gave it back. Then Nalli Khorshid, he asked Khorshid to give the pad. He corrected and gave it. Some of you may know this story, but it's interesting, so I'm repeating it. Then Baba took the pad from Mera, and all she had done was written only the first line, Kora Kagaz. There was nothing on the page. Baba looked at Mera and said, but these girls have written the whole Munajat. What have you done? What were you doing? Were you fumbling? So Mera said, Baba, unlike these two girls who studied in Zoroastrian schools, Parsi schools, I have studied in a convent, in a Catholic school. And though I can speak Gujarati fluently, I almost never learned how to write in Gujarati. My parents did teach me, but that is it. Since then, I've never written in Gujarati. And Baba said, is that so? Then he took the pad again from Mera, and he wrote the whole Munajat and gave it to Mera. That this is it. Written in Gujarati, of course, but he gives it to her and says, this is it. And Mera later on told these two girls that I am so fortunate that I didn't know Gujarati. If I had known Gujarati, I would have written the Munajat myself. But because I didn't know Gujarati, Baba wrote it in his hand, and I still have it today. Even after many years, she would, I don't know the right word is, flaunt it. She would flaunt it and show it to Baba lovers that these are Baba's hands and Baba wrote it for me. So this is it. So this lady pointed out from some text that Baba dictated to Mera and the other girls. So this is the proof that Baba dictated. So I corrected her once again, saying, speaking or writing is different from dictating. And I stand and I don't stand corrected, that what Baba has written, what you showed me is that Baba dictated the Monaja. Baba, it doesn't say Baba wrote the Monaja. So basically, that's the story. Yeah. Now, I said earlier that Baba was very orthodox. He was very orthodox. Even by those days standards, he was very orthodox in the sense the women had to wear matubanu. And not only they had to wear matubanu, they had to cover their head with sari also. The non-passes won't understand what is matubanu. Matubanu is a white scarf. It is a white scarf which you have to wear from here. Your head should not be seen. It should be worn from here and tied at the back. And then beyond that, you have to cover your head. Apre Gujarati mein kahiye shawl levanu. So this is how it was. Secondly, they wore cotton. They mostly wore whites. And the sleeves had to be full sleeves, right up to here. No short sleeves, no off shoulders. Well, there were no off shoulders then, but no sleeveless, nothing. Baba was very, very strict. And well, this is how they lived. Now, and the living, let's come to the living part. Baba once told Mera that from now onwards, you will not read and you will not write. Imagine a life where you don't read and imagine a life where you don't write. If I'm told that you will not read and you will not write, I rather fold up. I can't do without reading, I can't do without writing. But that was Mera and that's me. So from that day onwards, Mera never wrote and Mera never read. Well, that's life. If you have to live with the avatar of the age, everything goes out to the window. So that is it. Now let us talk about Mera's, her mother dollar, Firoja's back. A huge cottage or bungalow, farmhouse, they call it a farmhouse. And they had half a dozen servants and they had horses and they had buggies and they had ponies and they lived in semi-luxury. I'm talking about those days, they lived in semi-luxury. And from that life of plenty, they came down to living in one trunk with limited number of clothes, sleeping on the floor on bed rolls, eating most base food. I repeat, eating most base food. The fish, the chicken, the mutton, you name it, everything went out of the window. It was a very, we call it sparse. It was a very sparse living. Those were the days when they enjoyed the chicken and the mutton and the fish. And now it came down to dal and rice and chutney and whatever else, tarkari, whatever. And Baba liked chutney. And Mera was told, some just keep an eye on the clock also, watch also. So Mera was told that
You have 6 minutes to go, sir.
yeah, I can see. Thank you. Mera was told that who made this chutney? Who pieced out the chutney? And Mera said, Baba, I did it. And Baba said, there's a smell of garlic in it. Were you peeling garlic and adu? We call it adu lasan. Were you peeling ginger and garlic? Mera said, yes, Baba, I have to work. I have to do everything else. Baba said, from today, you will not touch garlic and ginger. If you have to cook for me, you will stay away from. You can do all other things. Barring these two things, you will not peel them, clean them, whatever else. Now, we all have seen the well which is next to Gilarisha's cover. So this is where the women would go. The men were at the post office, far, far. So this is where the women would go. There was a washing stone. In the early days, they used to have a big flat square or rectangle stone on which they wash clothes. And they would wash all their clothes there, including Baba's clothes, which Mera would only wash. And then there would be a clothesline outside the bathroom where Mera had separate clothesline for Baba's clothes and separate clothesline for their clothes. Now look at how mind works. Our minds wouldn't work that way. Now there was no history, there was no ironing there. So what Mera would do is, when Baba's clothes are still damp, not wet, damp, good enough to pull out, she would lay them on a towel or a big chadar and let the dampness go away, and then again hang it on the clothesline. And afterwards, she would fold them and keep everything ready for Baba. So this is how they served Meher Baba. Now, after some time, the ladies were made to shift to the post office, and those who were staying at post office, they were made to shift to the other rooms. So now the women were living at the post office. Now, for privacy of women, they had the post office was covered from three sides by that chajia, whatever else we call it, so that they don't see the men at Lower Mehrabad and men would not see the women. So that kind of privacy was maintained. So they could come out of the post office and yet not be seen by the men, etc. Now, the women also started cooking for the boys at the school. and a small room was made between the post office and the chajia. A small kind of a room was made where all the cooking was done for the boys. So this is where Mera, Naja, Khoshed, Daulat Ma, etc. they cooked food for Baba. Now something very interesting. Let's come to the tea, the morning tea. The morning tea was kumri chai. Kumri chai in the sense, no milk. There are two stories. I'll come to the next later. So they would have kumri chai with green leaves and tea powder, etc. And they would get up at 5 in the morning and keep the tea ready for Baba, because Baba would come very early. And it's also said that in those days, there were no bhakris also. In other words, there was no breakfast also, just kumri chai. And the lunch, believe me, the lunch was at 9:30. The lunch was at 9:30 and the dinner was at 4:30. Boggles my mind how you can eat at 9:30 and 4:30. So basically that's it. You have to toe the line or walk down Ahmednagar Road and go to Ahmednagar. One of the two. That's it. No compromise. Nothing like if and but with Meher Baba. You want to live with him, you follow his dictate, and that is it. Sam, it's 7. I think I'll wind up. Oh,
If you have some small anecdote.
yeah, I have. Yes, I have one small. Yeah, I didn't tell you the prelude to Baba told these ladies to bring pads. Baba asked these 3 ladies, do you pray during the day? Do you think of God? Do you pray? So these 3 girls said, yes, Baba, we do kasti. Kasti is what we Zoroastrians wear, the thread, you know. So they said, Baba, we do kasti. And Baba looked surprised and said, but custody takes 5 minutes. Are you trying to tell me that in 24 hours you think of God, you are reminded of God only for 5 minutes in the whole day? Then what do you do the whole day? You don't think of God beyond 5 minutes. So that is when Baba said, bring your pads and I'll dictate something to you. So that's the story preceding. So Sam, that is a small story. Let's end here.
Thank you very much, Jimmy.
My pleasure.
Somehow or the other, we've reached our time limit. So we shall now go into the prayer mode, and please do join us in the prayer and the aarti. Thank you.
Sam, you need to know something,
Haji.
that I have written 5 pages about these stories from a book called Mera. I showed it last time also. I'll show it again this time.
Yes.
This is Mera's book written by Nosirwan Ansar.
Mhm.
And I only finished 1.5 pages. I'm on page 2 halfway. just telling you.
Okay.
Oh, okay then. Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Very briefly, Jimmy, there is a lady here who wants to know when would be the next bus trip in the month of March, around what date?
Yes. There will be, as usual, 3 days and 5 days trip. The 3 days trip will be 11, 12, 13
of March.
Yes,
Okay.
because we want to include Dhuni also.
Okay.
So 3 days trip will be 11, 12, 13, and the 5 days trip will be 9 to 14, which will also include Dhuni once again.
Right.
So both the trips will include Dhuni, 9 to 11. Sorry, 9 to 14 and 11 to 13.
Thank you.
Sure.
Jai Baba.
Jai
Let's
Baba.
go for prayers.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। हे परवरिगार, सबके राखनहार और सबकी रक्षा करने वाले, तुम्हारा कोई आदि नहीं है और न तुम्हारा कोई अंत है। तुम अद्वैत हो, तुम तुलना से परे हो और तुम्हारा पार कोई नहीं पा सकता है। तुम्हारा कोई रंग और कोई रूप नहीं है। तुम अभिभव से रहित हो और तुम गुणातीत हो। तुम अपार हो और अगाध हो, कल्पना और धारणा से परे हो, शाश्वत और अनश्वर हो। तुम अखंडनीय हो और दिव्य नेत्रों के सिवाय और किसी भी प्रकार से तुम्हें कोई नहीं देख सकता है। तुम्हारा अस्तित्व सदैव था, तुम सदैव रहते हो और तुम सदैव रहोगे। तुम सर्वत्र हो, तुम हर वस्तु में हो और तुम हर जगह से परे तथा हर वस्तु से परे भी हो। तुम आकाश में हो और पाताल में हो, तुम व्यक्त हो और अव्यक्त हो, तुम सब लोगों पर हो और समस्त लोगों से परे भी हो। तुम तीनों भुवनों में हो और तीनों भुवनों से परे भी हो। तुम अगोचर हो और स्वतंत्र हो। तुम सृष्टि के रचने वाले हो, स्वामियों के स्वामी हो, समस्त मनों और हृदयों के ज्ञाता हो। तुम सर्वशक्तिमान हो और सर्वव्यापी हो। तुम अनंत ज्ञान हो, अनंत शक्ति हो और अनंत आनंद हो। तुम ज्ञान के महासागर हो, सर्वज्ञ हो, अनंत ज्ञान रखने वाले हो। तुम भूत, वर्तमान और भविष्य के ज्ञाता हो और तुम स्वयं ज्ञान हो। तुम पूर्ण दयामय हो और सरित परितकारी हो। तुम आत्मा हो कि आत्मा हो और अनंत गुणों से संपन्न एक परमात्मा हो। तुम सत्य, ज्ञान और परमानंद की त्रिमूर्ति हो। तुम सत्य के मूल हो, प्रेम के महासागर हो। तुम सनातन सत्ता हो, ऊंचों में सबसे ऊंचे हो। तुम प्रभु और परमेश्वर हो। तुम परब्रह्म हो और परात्पर परब्रह्म भी हो। तुम परब्रह्म परमात्मा हो, अल्लाह हो, इलाही हो, यजदान हो और मस्द हो और प्रियतम ईश्वर हो। तुम्हारा नाम यजद अर्थात एकमात्र पूजनीय है। हे असीम दया के निधि प्रभुराज, हम अपने सब पापों के लिए पश्चाताप करते हैं। हर एक विचार के लिए जो असत्य, अनुचित या गंदा था, हर एक बोले हुए शब्द के लिए जिससे बोलना हमें उचित न था, और हर एक कर्म के लिए जिससे करना हमें उचित न था। स्वार्थ से प्रेरित हर एक कर्म, शब्द और विचार के लिए तथा देश प्रेरित हर एक कर्म, शब्द और विचार के लिए हम पश्चाताप करते हैं। और विशेषकर हर एक कामुक विचार तथा क्रिया के लिए, ऐसे हर एक वचन के लिए जिसको हमने पूरा नहीं किया, और सभी निंदा, पाखंड, दम या लोगों के पीछे उनके दोष बताने के लिए हम अनुताप करते हैं। और खासकर दूसरों का नाश करने वाले हर एक कर्म के लिए, दूसरों को दुख देने वाले हर एक शब्द तथा कर्म के लिए तथा दूसरों पर दुख गिरने की इच्छा करने के लिए हम अनुताप करते हैं। और खासकर दूसरों का नाश करने वाले हर एक कर्म के लिए तथा दूसरों पर दुख गिरने की इच्छा करने के लिए हम अनुताप करते हैं। हे प्रभुराज, आप हम पर असीम दया करके हमारे किए हुए पापों को क्षमा कीजिए, और वैसे ही आपकी मर्जी के अनुसार विचार करने में, बोलने में तथा कार्य करने में जो हमारी असमर्थता सदा रहती आई है, उसको भी क्षमा कीजिए। यही हमारी आपसे प्रार्थना है। प्रियतम परमात्मा, हमारी ऐसी सहायता कर कि हम तुझसे अधिक और अधिक प्रेम करें, और अधिक और अधिक, और फिर भी उससे भी अधिक प्रेम करें, जब तक कि हम तुझ में मिलकर एक हो जाने के पात्र बन जाए। और तू हम सब की ऐसी सहायता कर कि हम अंत अंत तक प्रियतम बाबा का दामन दृढ़ता से पकड़े रहे। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। जय बाबा। बुझावे नार चहलतनी कर कुद रत्ने फरमातु छे लागी आश भक्तों ने के बख्शे नूरे मातु अयामुर शत मेहर बाबा चरण पर तुझ न धरिए सर खुदाना जात तीवा के फथई बैठो मेहर बातू तुझे माँ लिख की कतनो तू आशिक भी नियारे भी तुझे दरी याय वह दत्त मारे फतनो होई तू फातू हमोरे रवने ऐसा लेक बगजे ज्ञान इजदनु के तू पर महात्मा ज्ञानी छेने मुख તારે ઈરફા તું ખુદાના પ્રેમનો પ્યાલો પિલાવી મસ્ત હમને કર છે તુજ પર જાન સદકે સાકિયા પીદે પૈમાં તું हमारी नाव भर दरिए तरावे तो हमें तरिए हमारा ना खुदा ए मेहर बाबा छे निगे बातू हमारा ना खुदा ए मेहर बाबा छे निगे बातू बुझावे नार जेलतनी एकर कुद रत्ने फरमातू छे लागी आश भक्तों ने के बख्शे नूरे मातू अवतार मेरे बाबा की जय।
हुआ लहर से ही है जिसकी सृष्टि का निर्माण, उसकी देवी अनंतता का कैसे हो अनुमान। आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन, आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन, नमो ब्रह्मा आओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनावो, मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ। प्रेम दीप में ही ये जलाऊ, प्रेम दीप में ही ये जलाऊ। निविड़ अंधेरा मिटता पाऊ, निविड़ अंधेरा मिटता पाऊ। अपना सब कुछ तुम्हें चढ़ाऊ, अपना सब कुछ तुम्हें चढ़ाऊ। तुम मुझको सरसाओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ, मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ। जीवन की हर सांस हमारी, जीवन की हर सांस हमारी बन जाए प्रभु गति तुम्हारी, बन जाए प्रभु गति तुम्हारी। हे करुणा कर लीलाधारी, है करुणा कर लीलाधारी। तुम करुणा बरसाओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ, मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ। बने आरती जीवन मेरा, बने आरती जीवन मेरा। आदि अंत का लय हो घेरा, आदि अंत का लय हो घेरा। खुले नयन और दिखे सवेरा, खुले नयन और दिखे सवेरा। तुम मुझ में छा जाओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन नमो ब्रह्मा आओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय Beloved अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय
Thank you, everybody, for your presence. And I hope you enjoyed this session. All I can say is take Baba with you and stay with him. Thank you, everybody. Jimmy Khan, Janice, all of you, thanks a lot. Jai Mer Baba.